Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I have a really exciting bag reveal today. Now it cannot be a proper unboxing because Celine actually didn't have any packaging. They were all out of boxes, and so they just put the bag in its dust bag and then gave it to me in a shopping bag. I was like, that's totally cool. The sales assistant was really nice and apologetic about it. I'm like, no need, seriously, I have moved apartments so many times now. I do not need any more packaging. When I moved from New Jersey to Baltimore, I had to recycle a ton of packaging. I know that some people sell it. I didn't want to do that. I also just didn't want to bother. I already had so many things to do. So I just, yeah, I'm not gonna go back for a box, but without much ceremony, I'm gonna just show you what I got. Here we go. I don't remember the name of this bag. I'll have it across the screen right now. So it is so amazing. I went into Celine, tried it on, and immediately fell in love. It wasn't actually one of the main bags that I went in there to see. If you're ever going into boutique, I highly recommend having screenshots from the website of like bags that you want to try. Especially like sometimes my mind goes blank and I can't remember names of things right there when someone's asking me. It's like the pressure's on, and of course the names are in French, and sometimes I just struggle to remember in that moment. So I was able to show the SA some that I was considering. They had a couple styles that I was curious to see, but it seems like they're really focusing on their TRIOMPHE line. I think that's the name of it, but it has that big gold emblem right there, and it's very nice, but it's just not what I was looking for. So this wasn't actually at the top of my list to try, but then the sales assistant mentioned that this comes with a crossbody strap. I thought it was just on the shoulder, which is fantastic, but it also comes with this adjustable strap. I mean, slightly adjustable. And then it also has this one. I took it off because I wanted to wear it as a crossbody bag. So there's gonna be a little bit of a first impressions. I have used it all of today. I went to Total Wine & More, just in case you're curious. And I also went to an amazing craft fair. I'm going to try to get this video up today, and if you see it and are in the Baltimore area, I definitely recommend stopping by the convention center this weekend. I believe the craft fair is going on all weekend. It is so cool. Oh my gosh, there were so many amazing things. I'll have a bunch of stories up on Instagram. Some amazing artists there. I also got these earrings just in case you like those. Really, such an amazing place. It's worth a trip. If you're in Pennsylvania or Virginia, I would suggest making the trip. But back to the bag. I did use this for the craft fair, and it was so handy. So it can hold a bunch. And of course, when you're at a craft fair, like, I can't always afford at once like all the things that I would love to pick up. And it's really important to note that artists they're worth the prices that they are charging. I know that some people feel like they can give, you know, independent artists a hard time over their prices for some reason. It's like, no, maybe it's out of your budget at that moment. But what I tend to do is I will grab their cards and just maybe return to it at a later date. I'll follow them on Instagram, and so I'm picking up a ton of little informational cards. This has a top zip, really nice and close to the body. That's why I fell in love with this immediately, because it's a nice neutral color. It sits close to my body. It's not like this big brick on my hip. I am kind of weird in that I love the speedy bandolier, but I don't wear it crossbody. It's just a little too bulky. I don't think it looks right on me. I like the way it looks on other people. Maybe it's just my shape, or I don't know, maybe it's entirely in my head. But I actually wear this the speedy bandolier on one of the shorter strap options, and I just wear it on my shoulder. This, with having such a just fantastic low profile, I loved the way this looked on me, and it's also super cute on the shoulder. So I'll show you what I had in here. This is just a little cloth bag that compacts really nicely. I wasn't quite sure what I would pick up from the craft fair, so it's nice to have that. I have these electric hand warmers. Ben got this for me as just like a little surprise gift. This might not surprise anyone, but I like gifts. I like stuff, but I want it to be, of course, thoughtful. I don't expect gifts from people. I hope that doesn't come out wrong. But like, Ben knows that I like these thoughtful little surprises. So he got me these electric rechargeable hand warmers because my hands are always cold. With living in the city now, I love to walk around everywhere, even if it's below freezing. I think it was 35 degrees today, so just in case, I had these in my bag. And then I had my wallet. This is actually one of the bigger wallets that I'll use. There was still a ton of space. And, ooh, more cards. Oh, this lady was so cool. Laurel ceramics. You know what? I'm gonna have some of these artists in the description box because they were amazing, and check them out even if you're not close to Baltimore. In here I also just had this little pouch. This was from J. Crew. I got it for free with a jewelry purchase. Essentially, when I don't want to use my little pochette, I had this next to me right now because it certainly can fit in here. This with my wallet, my phone, sunglasses, like this bag is nice and compact, but it holds a ton. But whenever I don't want to bother bringing this, I will always bring one of these little freebie pouches. I will put my keys in here for my apartment. And today I had this little lippy. I don't like to have lipsticks rolling around free in my bag, but also don't want the bulk of the pochette. I didn't need that much stuff. So I had this in here. Is anyone curious to know what I have in my little pochette? Skip past this part if you're not, but I'm feeling kind of chatty today because that craft fair was awesome. It clearly put me in an amazing mood. But I'll tell you right now just what I have. Just this I recently got. It's from the brand Attaché. A little bag hook. This thing is chonky for a bag hook. I realize that it's pretty big. I actually haven't used it yet, but I did just get it. I wanted something like really robust and sturdy, something that could hold a big heavy tote. And I like to be careful with my things in a low maintenance way. And I don't know how to explain this really well. I like to do the thinking up front so that I don't have to think very much about it later, like when I'm actually in action. For example, okay, if you have seen the bag hooks that I use at home, they're like these nice wide curved, they have a nice like wide stable base, and so that stops my bags from getting a kink in the leather. Like, I like thinking about that kind of thing ahead of time so that my bags stay in good condition and I don't feel like I'm working, I don't feel like I'm baby them. But what I'm getting at is this has like a really nice wide curve, and something that always concerned me about other bag hooks is they're really, really tiny and thin. I was worried that that would put a kink in the leather just because like all the pressure is on that one little point, you know, and maybe it would fold the leather, whereas something like wider, a little bit more supportive. I don't know, maybe that makes sense, or maybe I'm just babbling to myself. I also picked up this teeny little thin packet. It holds some Advil, some ibuprofen, and then a Bobbi Brown lippy. Love this one. I like low maintenance lips. I'm kind of lazy, a little bit messy. That Sicily one is awesome if you like something a little bit more pigmented. I was wearing red lipstick all today, but I didn't feel like I was wearing red lipstick. I didn't feel like I was doing any work. So that's an awesome one. And then I have this Marc Jacobs Daisy, which of course always makes me think of Styled by Gwenny's beautiful cat. I love her cats when she gets to show them. She has one named Daisy and she's absolutely darling. One of my favorite things about YouTube is of course having those little memories, but I digress. Back to the bag. Now it has absolutely no pockets on the inside. I was debating with myself today about whether that bothers me. I think I'm okay with it. So maybe you can see in here, because it is quite narrow, it's pretty slim, but I don't think you have to worry too much about your things getting scratched up. I was maybe a bit concerned when I was putting in the pochette for the first time because it has that printed animation. I didn't want the zipper of the bag to scratch against it, but it was totally fine. So as I said, there is no internal pocket. I was thinking to myself, I wish there was an internal pocket here. Do I wish there was something where I could just slip my keys? And I think I'm actually okay with there not being a pocket. It would push out into the bag and maybe it would block your view. It just probably isn't necessary. It is a small size. Now, I love micro bags. I love mini bags. So this is pretty generous for me. I wanted something that I could take traveling, running errands. I tend to like impractical bags. So, I mean, not super fussy, but for example, the Bottega Jody bag, that's a bit fussy. You know, you can't just fling it around. You can't get rain on it. The Louis Vuitton Speedy is probably one of my most practical bags, and I knew I wanted something with a nice slim crossbody profile, something that could hold up in the rain. And also with this being very slim, it can probably get packed very easily. I'd probably stuff it with a few socks and put it in my suitcase, honestly. And then I would carry like the more delicate, if I was gonna take two, then carry the more delicate bag. Even better, since this has the shorter strap, you can dress it up, dress it down. Now, it's never gonna be the most dressy bag. Like, I'm not gonna wear this to the Kennedy Center. I don't know, though I guess you could. Or like a super fancy restaurant. But, you know, it's, I don't know, something about the color, the shape, the canvas. It's a little bit more relaxed, but I like that you can dress it up like just a bit by wearing it as a shoulder bag. So the branding on this is pretty low-key as far as luxury bags are concerned. I don't think the Triomphe canvas is very recognizable, like outside of the handbag community. Like, people who are into bags are certainly going to know this. It is very recognizable in that population, but most people aren't into the things that we're into, let's be serious. Sure, they might recognize Louis Vuitton, they might recognize the Gucci red and green strap. I think Celine is a little bit more low-key. There is, let's see, Celine is printed right here along the sides, right underneath the buckle, but it is just embossed, and then here it is actually, like, it has a gold printing, but no one is ever going to notice the top of that shoulder. Of course, it's just a smooth bottom. Yeah, just a really beautiful bag. I'll put on the short strap just so you can see it, and I'll have cutaways. I immediately fell in love with this bag. I was planning on, I thought I was gonna get a different bag. I'll put up the pictures of bags that I was considering from Celine. They didn't have one that I was interested in, and then another one, they only had it in the white canvas. It was nice, but this one, just with the slim profile, I fell in love with it. I didn't want to wait, honestly. I knew how good this would be in my collection, so I'm not gonna bother holding this up and doing it, but changing out the straps, as you would expect with just the little buckles, is very, very easy. This fits so nicely. It has a nice long, like a long enough drop where I was wearing this with a coat. It was no trouble at all. It wasn't bulky. I had still tons of room underneath my arm, so you can certainly wear this with a puffer. I also love that the shoulder strap, it's like the perfect width. It's not too thin, so it is going to be supportive, but it's also not so thick that it's going to be slipping off your shoulder. I think this will stay comfortable for most people, and it's certainly comfortable crossbody. I'm probably going to be mostly carrying this crossbody, to be honest. In case this comparison is helpful, I will show you. It probably won't fit a book. I really just wanted an excuse to bring out this book. It's called The Thursday Murder Club. If you have not read it, it is amazing. If you don't like to read, I suggest checking out the audiobook. It is so, so good. The story is amazing. Seriously, I have never come across an author that can make me laugh and cry this much. It is so, so amazing. But as you can see, more importantly, back to the important things, goodness, I get sidetracked when I want to, it won't quite fit in this bag. So if you are looking for a bag that you can fit like a 8x5 diary, more books in, you would probably need something on the smaller side. I think the small Louis Vuitton Agenda, which I should have brought out, I do have it, but that will fit in here if you have like one of those cute little pocket books. I don't know, pocket Shakespeare or whatever. That will fit in here. Otherwise, maybe a small Kindle. I will look up how small Kindles are and I will put that in the description box if it fits. So that is everything I had to share with you. This is my very first Celine bag. I have been considering Celine for as long as I have been looking at handbags. I would say Dior was my first love. That was the very first boutique that drew me in, and then it was Burberry. I kind of held off on Chanel for as long as possible. I don't know, I held out for like a year, but I was kind of intimidated going into Chanel for the first time. Now this is, of course, years ago. But Celine was always so approachable, and I loved the Phoebe Philo designs. Their classic bag, the one that was typically called the box, that I believe is now discontinued, I loved that bag. I wanted it in lizard, but I never ended up getting it. In hindsight, I am kind of glad that I didn't get it. For a while, their hardware has just been too prominent for me. As I said, their Triumph line seems to be front and center nowadays, and that's just not really my jam. I couldn't tell you why. I like more minimal hardware. Dior is also doing like super gaudy hardware right now. That just personal preference. I don't know what it is, but I'm just not really into what they're doing. So I was just, seriously, I was so thrilled to find something. This was exactly what I wanted, and it was love at first sight. As soon as I put this on, like, I could just see everything coming together. I actually filmed recently all the bags that I commute to work with, because I always have my laptop bag and then some little crossbody, some little handbag, usually a Lululemon belt bag, like something super low-key and light for me to put my phone, my wallet, my work badges. And I mentioned how I don't bring any of my luxury bags into the office because I tend to like fussy luxury bags. I just like things that are a little bit high maintenance or a little bit delicate. I'm not going to bring any of my Chanel bags in. So finally I have something that I can take on the train. It's just because of my commute. It's not because of my office. Like, I'm not saying anything about bringing luxury goods into the office. It's just because I have kind of a stressful commute. It's over an hour. There's, well, excuse me, I'm dying. Okay, no. God, I hate that when you're like talking and suddenly you, I don't know, swallow your tongue or something. But there's walking, there's going on the train. I usually walk for up to 2 miles, and then I'm in a car. It's a hectic commute. So that's the only reason why I tend to not bring my luxury bags. And finally, I have one that I can bring. Anyway, I hope this was fun. I was so excited to share this with you. Please do let me know if you have any questions in particular about this bag, because I love it and I just want to share it with anyone. So I will talk to you next time. Bye. You know, on the subject of dying, I actually need to have surgery in a few weeks. I really hope I don't die. That would be terrible. Like, knock on wood. But I do actually have to have surgery soon. I have to have my tonsils out, and that's something that can make filming really difficult. I go hoarse quite often. I have massive tonsils. No one probably wants to know this about me. I'm sorry for the DMI, but I have huge tonsils and they've caused me problems my entire life. I am finally getting around to taking them out. I can be quite lazy when it comes to doctor's appointments. I just put off going, especially when you have to see different specialists and then get blood work and prepare for surgeries. But yeah, if you've ever wondered why sometimes I struggle with videos, it's probably because I'm choking on my own tonsils. But I don't know. Ooh, I have a package.